there. Good morning, everybody. We've got 3 interwatch items to talk about today, or actually three items to talk about. One is an interwatch item. So we're going to talk about an aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer. We're going to give some cold weather safety tips to everybody, and we're going to talk about a traffic special assignment that's going on today. So we'll get started out by talking about the aggravated assault that occurred last night on a law enforcement officer. Case number on this is going to be 17C001113. 17C001113. Aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer occurred in the 5400 block of East 21st Street. Occurred on January 5th at approximately 8:30 p.m. On January 5th, 2017 at approximately 8:30 p.m. officers were dispatched to a suspicious character at an apartment in the 5400 block of East 21st Street. Security had reported to 911 that there was a lot of activity at a certain apartment, along with the smell of drugs. 2 uniformed officers responded and knocked on the door to contact the occupants. A 20-year-old male opened the door and pointed a handgun at one of the officers and then shut the door. Those officers then forced entry into the residence and contacted a total of 5 occupants that were inside. All the occupants were detained as drugs were seen in plain view when officers entered. A search warrant was secured and 3 different types of drugs were seized from inside, along with numerous firearms. The 20-year-old male who pulled the handgun on the officers resides at another apartment within the complex. He was arrested for aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer and numerous drug charges. Officers also arrested a 15-year-old that was inside the residence as an occupant, and he was arrested for drug charges. The 3 other individuals were not arrested. They were just contacted and released, and there were no injuries to anybody involved.
The ages of the 3 other contacted?
22-year-old male, 19-year-old female, 18-year-old female.
And did those people reside at that residence?
We're still trying to work through that right now.
Vicki, I don't know if you can comment, or if there is somebody that can comment, because I think we all know what complex this is.
Correct.
You guys, we have had a lot of activity out there recently.
Right.
When does the police step in and say, okay, enough's enough,
we're doing what we can. Active patrols, when officers aren't actively responding to 911 calls, officers are over there patrolling the area. The apartment complex is doing great. They have security. That's how we got notified of this. So that was really good on their part to train and educate their security to call 911 in events like this. So everything worked out good last night. The security called, 911 officers came out. It's just going to be having to, steps forward from here on out, working with management, working with individuals inside the apartment complex itself to call 911, and it's going to take a community effort, but I think we're going in the right direction for sure.
Neighbors in residential areas, you guys are always asking people, kind of look around, watch out.
Right.
Is this something that you want to encourage apartment dwellers?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, and not just this apartment. Any apartment. We're very focused on the see something, say something. So, anytime something doesn't look right, call 911. Do not hesitate. We would much rather go out and determine that it's nothing and move on to the next one than not be called when it was something that we could have intervened with or dealt with at the time. So any apartment complex, any neighborhood, we have that sense that something isn't right. So call 911, have officers come out and check on it, and then go from there. But yeah, especially around apartment complex, because you have a lot of people living in a small area. So especially there, people live there and they start to realize things. They smell drugs in other apartments. Call 911. We'll come out and check it out.
The initial call, the suspicious character in the apartments, was that a security officer that saw this? Or?
Yes. Yeah, the security officer noticed this activity, smelled the drugs, and that's how the 911 call. He didn't try to approach. He didn't try to do anything. He called 911, did what he was supposed to do, and we came out and took care of business.
And you said 3 types of drugs. Can you tell us what type of drugs?
I can't say what type of drugs. There's 3 different types of illegal drugs were located inside that apartment.
How many people were in the...
5 total. Okay. We wanted to give some cold weather safety. The Wichita Police Department wants everyone to remain safe during these cold winter days. Some safety reminders include, please minimize your travel. If you don't have to be out, then don't. Stay indoors during the worst part of the extreme cold. It's always good to keep a winter survival kit in your vehicle if you must travel, and we encourage you to bring blankets, food, water, coats, gloves for everyone inside the vehicle, and of course a cell phone that you can call for help. Check tire pressure, antifreeze levels, and your heater and defroster in your car. Learn how to shut off water valves for potential pipe burst inside your house. And please, we cannot stress this enough to check on the elderly. If you have elderly family, friends, or neighbors, please check on them. Make sure that they have food and make sure their heat is working inside their house. And of course, bring pets inside. Pets can easily get frostbite. Please protect their paws from the salt that's out and about. Keep antifreeze away from the pets and speak out if you see a pet in cold weather. They have to have potable water, no frozen water, food, and shelter. And if you see something that looks a pet is in distress, please call 911 or the animal control and we'll come out and check it out. I know that was fast. I have it written down if you guys need it. Okay, and the last one's a traffic special assignment. Officers from the Wichita Police Department are going to be participating in a grant-funded special traffic enforcement assignment along Broadway today from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The main focus will be on texting while driving. However, all traffic violations will be enforced. Research has shown that distracted driving can lead to accidents, which leads to an increase of injuries and deaths on our roads. Please be a defensive driver and give your full time and attention to the road while you're driving.
Can you tell us, again, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Broadway?
Yes.
Is there a specific area?
Just Broadway corridor throughout the city. And it is grant funded, so officers will be only focusing on enforcing those laws.
Can you tell us about that law regarding texting and driving, and is that allowed when you're actually even stopped?
I wouldn't suggest it. I don't know exactly if you can do it while you're stopped. I mean, you can need to go in a matter of a second. So, but yeah, you cannot be engaged in a texting conversation or anything like that while you're driving. And even though it is against the law, but it's not smart. You know, you got to have your eyes on the road at all times. So we will be enforcing it, and it leads to a lot of accidents every single year all over the United States. So that's why we're focusing on that. Yeah, it is against the law to text and drive here in Wichita.
So, how much is that grant for?
Like money-wise, I don't know how much it is. It's a whole year project. So we've got numerous scheduled throughout the year, and it just comes grant funded, I believe, through the Kansas Department of Transportation.
And that helps pay for the officers'
Yes.
salary who's working that particular.
Yeah, it's an overtime assignment, so it's not on-duty officers. It doesn't take away from the streets. It doesn't take away from 911. They're actually officers that are off-duty that come in to work for this grant-funded project.
How many officers?
I don't know how many officers there are.
Will they be standing or in the car?
In the car, yeah. Yeah, they'll be pulling over cars. So the officers don't want to get out in the cold today, so don't text and drive. All right, guys, thanks. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.